fun game to watch.
I think the story again for South Carolina tonight was the pitching. You know, they got roughed up a little bit in that last game against Vanderbilt. The defense didn't really help them out. Tonight, they played good defense and they had terrific pitching.
Well, and that's always going to be the story with South Carolina. They're pitching. They're number one in the SEC in ERA. I mean, they're going to do the job on the mound. They catch the ball behind their pitchers, and they hit. I mean, now they're hitting over 300 this year. They're one of the best teams in the country for a reason.
Coming in ranked number 7, as we mentioned, this game would be an RPI builder for somebody because both teams come in with very strong RPIs, strength of schedule, and everything else. South Carolina winds up winning it by a score of 4-2. And again, it all started with great starting pitching from Widener.
Well, Widener was hitting his spots early in this game, hitting the corners, working off his fastball with his breaking pitch, but mostly predominantly on the outside corner, just overpowering these hitters for Coastal Carolina. Remillard, the hardest hitter on this team at .420 over the last 21, struggled in this game. Struck out 3 times for the hat trick. Probably trying to do a little too much, and that's pretty common in baseball, especially when you're trying to beat up on your bigger brother.
Timely hitting tonight for South Carolina. You saw it in key spots. They didn't get a bunch of hits or a bunch of runs, but they got them when they mattered.
Well, they had a few hits in the first inning. They did some small ball here, a little sac fly to right field to score the 3rd run there. I thought their approaches were good. You know, Mike Morrison there tries to do a little too much to John Jones and gives them their 4th run. And then Reagan, of course, is going to wrap it up in the 8th and the 9th inning.
Taylor Widener had scuffled in a starting role for much of the season, but tonight he came through. He really set the tone for this entire Gamecock staff, and then it was a battle of the bullpens, and very rarely will you win a battle of the bullpens against South Carolina. Gamecocks 8 hits tonight. Coastal Carolina came in one of the top hitting teams in America, but held to just 5 hits. And as you pointed out, a big factor tonight, you can't completely avoid the subject, and that is the wind tonight. It was going to take a mighty clout to knock one out of Founders Park with the wind blowing in. Remaining schedule for South Carolina, it lightens up a little bit. I know Coach Holbrook won't like hearing that because you got to respect everybody you play in this league, but compared to, say, Vanderbilt on the road or at Ole Miss, you got Tennessee at Georgia and then Missouri at home before it starts to heat up again with the Gators and Texas A&M and on the road at Kentucky. But as we talked about, this game had a conference feel, and it's a quality win for South Carolina. And I know the man who's joining us now and awfully happy about what transformed tonight, Coach Holbrook. And Chad, first of all, tell us, in your mind, what did this game mean, coming off a tough series against Vanderbilt, to get some positive mojo going back into another tough weekend series against Tennessee?
Well, it's a big win because, our RPI is pretty good. Coastal Carolina's got a good RPI. I think we've played 9 games in a row against teams with an RPI in the top 20. So, from a resume standpoint, hopefully we'll look back on this game in June if we're in a good position, and we'll say that was a big win. And I feel like right now, we beat a great Coastal Carolina team, a team that's loaded with veterans and got a dang good team, and very, very athletic. And it's a tough night to play. The wind was blowing in. It was tough to hit, but we did enough. And, and Reagan was special at the end of the game. And I think Widener got us off to a good start, which was very important.
Well, and I know you were glad to see Widener do that, Coach, but I know you didn't want to whip the horse, but you bring Josh Reagan in for 2 innings at the end. I know how important this game was for you, especially going into a weekend series against Tennessee. What do you expect to see from Tennessee this weekend?
Well, they're very offensive, and they got some guys in the middle of the lineup that can really hit. They maybe have the best hitter in the country, that we're going to have to deal with. And, Dave's teams always play hard. They play with energy. They're turning the corner, and they've got a good team, and they've beat some good people. So we're going to have to be at the top of our game. Yeah, Reagan was impressive tonight. With Reagan, I don't look at it as 2 innings because he's so efficient sometimes. Sometimes he can pitch an inning, and you look up and he threw 6 pitches. So it's a little bit different with him when we say a 2-inning save type deal. Sometimes it's a 14-pitch save, with him because he's so efficient. But, that son of a gun was passing kidney stones last night, and he wanted the ball tonight, the game on the line. I think that says something about Josh.
Well, it says he's a lot tougher than me, but I think we already knew that, Coach. Final question for you, and that is Taylor Widener. How important was it to see that young man get back on track?
Well, it was good. And Josh, Taylor is a big part of our team, and he's got a great arm. He's struggled a little bit this year with his consistency, but it was nice to see him throw strikes and get ahead of some hitters. He got a little bit tired there in the 5th, which is to be expected. But it was a good night for Taylor, and that certainly adds to the depth of our pitching staff as we go forward.
Coach, enjoy a couple of days, not off, but at least off from game action before you get ready for a big 3-game series against the Volunteers.
Thanks, Mike and Todd. Appreciate you being here.
You got it. Enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for scheduling a great midweek game. We love to see that. Coming up next, Ole Miss Pro Day. We'll get back to a little football talk with spring football games fresh in the air and coming at you this weekend here on the SEC Network. Todd Walker, first one in the books. Great job, my man.
Thanks. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it. For Todd and the rest of our terrific SEC Network crew, this is Mike Morgan saying so long from the capital city. Your final score, the Gamecocks 4 and the Chanticleers 2. So long, everybody, and have a great night.